Do-do-do, Tim, 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 Tim. Tim wants to see you tonight. Whoa. Did we ever figure out whose song that was? Anyone?
No one looked.
Nobody bothered. Sports Center with Jay and Dan. We are thrilled that you tuned into the program. This is Dan. I'm Jay. And the Cinderella story of professional sports, not just the National Hockey League, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, one win away, Dan, from moving to the conference final. Incredible.
Come on in.
Am I too far away?
Yeah. Yeah, the Knights. That's a bit too close. Okay, we're ready now. You want some highlights? Yeah, we've got those. The Knights, a win away from reaching the conference final. They have a 3-2 lead on the Sharks. Midway through the first, Thomas Hurdle in alone. Crossbar. Centers to Logan Couture, friend of Sports Center with Jay and Dan. Fans on the shot. Couture and Hurdle, 1-2 in playoff scoring for the Sharks. My script says scoreless after one. That is incorrect. There was a score. It was 0-0. 6 minutes into the second. Yeah, Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Marc-Edouard Vlasic turns the puck over, and Riley Smith to Jonathan Marchessault. He beats Marty Jones 5-hole. Marchessault's fourth of the playoffs, one's at Vegas. Hurdle gets another chance. Backhand stopped by Fleury. Hurdle, rebound, off the post. Other end, Nate Schmidt. Shot. Okay, it hit a post. I heard that. Wait, refs take another look. The puck actually went in. Schmidt's second, 2-0 Vegas. Sharks running out of time, 6 to go. Brent Burns from the point. Another post. Sharks hit the post in every period. Still down 2. San Jose pulls Jones with 2 minutes to play. With that empty net, Ryan Carpenter. It's like, no, you take this, Cody. You can empty net it. Seals the victory and the series for Vegas. And Fleury picks up his 4th shutout in 10 games this postseason. Let's see what fans are doing back in Vegas. That's a party every day there. The Knights await the winner of the Jets and Predators. How can you not cheer for Fleury? The guy's always happy. And his numbers. If his goals against average and save percentage numbers hold up, they'd be the best he's ever had in a single postseason. He is definitely on the top of the heap for the Conn Smythe discussion at this point. And his 4 playoff shutouts, that's the most in the NHL. Already the most he's ever put up in a single playoff.
Bruins and Lightning Game 5. After dropping Game 1, the Bolts have won 3 straight. And they were ready to clinch first period. Brad Marchand, star of the new CTV drama, The Licker. But a detective who licks people to determine their innocence or guilt in a crime situation. Given a penalty for embellishment here. Later, Boston on the power play. His friend of Sports Center with Jay and Dan, Kenny Albert, on the call. Krejci's 3rd of the playoffs. The team to score first has won every game in this series so far. Second period. Kevin Miller cannot clear it, and there's Braden Point. He's got 7 points in the series. Ties it at 1 later. David Backes takes a hard hit from JT Miller, no relation. Backes, a history of concussions. He was escorted off the ice. He did not return. Just a few shifts after that. Tampa power play. And it is JT Miller with his 2nd of the playoffs, fitting in real nice. Bolts up 2-1 after 40. We're jumping to the 3rd under 10 to play. David Bofferl. 2 chances denied, both times, by .927 save percentage holding Andrei Vasilevsky. Postseason, that is. Patrice Bergeron, meanwhile, sent it alone. Vasilevsky again. Andre Platt, nice back check. Vasilevsky showing why he is a Vezina candidate. Final moments, Anton Strawman. Empty netter will seal it. Tampa's moving on to the Eastern Conference Final. Yeah, Tuukka Rask kind of alluded to it. it seemed like a lopsided series, but actually Tampa only had 4 more goals, and they were actually worse on the power play. But the Lightning move on. They have home ice in their next series against either Washington or Pittsburgh.
You know who we've barely spoken about to this point of the NBA playoffs? Kevin Durant. He's playing great, averaging over 25 points a game, but he hasn't dominated a game as of yet. That'll change Sunday. Warriors up 2-1. They're coming off a 19-point loss to the Pelicans, and KD followed up that loss with a performance his coach called, quote, brilliant, close quote. Anthony Davis, 33 points, 18 boards in that Game 3 win. It's Game 4, second quarter. Davis picks, rolls, gets up there. Pelly's trimmed an 18-point deficit to 7 by the half, third quarter. Davis misses. Rajon Rondo does the dirty work. Davis can't hang on. 2 passes later, Kevin Durant throws that. Warriors just kept pushing it. Draymond Green spots Andre Iguodala. Rajon Rondo flying by. Rondo was fine. Warriors up double digits. Durant on Davis. Just shoots it over. Durant put up 13 in third, 38 in the game as the Warriors, they blow out the Pelicans and they grab a 3-1 series lead.
Houston up 2-1 in their series with the Jazz. Game 4 in Salt Lake City. Early first quarter, Donovan Mitchell, Rookie of the Year candidate, goes for the block, jumps right over Clint Capella. The Rockets had 30 in the first quarter. Second quarter, James Harden called for the foul on Derek Favors. Protests, and a fan sitting courtside will mock him. I would mock the jacket and the hoodie under the jacket. Trailing by 12 in the second, Royce O'Neal. He had 8. Then Donovan Mitchell again. He had 13 in the quarter. Jazz down by 10 at the break, though. Chris Paul is 33 years old Sunday. His brother was at the game. He got mistakenly escorted away. It ended up being a case of mistaken identity? What? I don't get it. But Chris Paul was not happy. He knocks down this 3 to put the Rockets up 14 after 3, and then in the fourth, the crossover and 2 more of his 27. Rockets up 3-1 in the series. Chris Paul. Great news. As of this show, our cameraman Glenn is working Sunday to Thursday like the rest of us. Now you can enjoy 5 days a week of comedic antics such as this.
Tonight, we finally killed Dan.
Well, that was dark. Anyway, great to have Glenn with us all week long. And speaking of rage, John Gibbons has been tossed from a game twice in the last 4 days. It's been a frustrating back half of an 8-game roadie for the Jays. Marco Estrada was abysmal against the Rays last season in 4 starts. 0-4 in ERA over 10. Given up a few home runs in his last 3 starts. It hasn't been great for him lately. Bottom 3 Rays for the man on second, Carlos Gomez. Single to center. And watch when he leaves the box. He's like, yep, I drove home a run. Nope, the runner's held at third. So Gomez is like, ooh, get back here. Later, Alex Smith, runner on third, tries to catch Estrada off guard and steal home. Estrada throws a strike to Luke Maile, who easily applies the tag. So Estrada went 6 scoreless, allowed just 4 hits. First Jays starter this year with a scoreless start. Top 5, Aledmys Diaz, man on third, slices one to the right side. Go-ahead run scores. Diaz hustling hard to beat out the throw at first, rolls his ankle.
And now Diaz is down in
he actually would be carted off the field. It's a left ankle sprain. We're going to the 8th. Now tied at 1. Ryan Tepera tries to pick off Rob Refsnyder. And Tepera's called for a balk.
I think they need
moving the runner to second. So Gibby, here he comes, not happy. You know, managers aren't allowed to leave the dugout to argue that, Dan. So the ump tosses him. And so that's the 2nd straight day and 3rd time in 5 days that Gibby has been ejected. Top 9, Kevin Pillar on third, Alex Colomé, wild pitch. Pillar, winning run. Jays avoid the sweep. World Hockey Championships, Korea against Canada. So this could be rough. Up 1-0 in the first. Matthew Barzal to his teammate in the NHL, Jordan Eberle, to Tyson Jost. Jost with his first of 2 on the day. Canada up 2-0 after 20. We were early second. Canada 5-on-3. Oh, this is terrifying. Connor McDavid to Colton Parayko, who has 5 goals in 8 career World Hockey Championship games. Underrated defenseman for your St. Louis Blues. Under a minute later, same power play. Barzal to Ryan O'Reilly. A lot of people in the stands for this one. Canada beat Korea 4-0 at this year's Olympics in Pyeongchang. It's 4-0 early in the second. And then, look at this. 5'9", 176 pounds, Jin Kyu Park steps in Aaron Ekblad, who's 6'4", 216. Unfortunately for Park, he was feeling it more after that hit. He didn't like that at all. Canada up 8-0 through 2. Connor McDavid, first of the tournament. Korea fell 8-1 to Finland Saturday, 10-0 to Canada on Sunday. Connor, the first customer at the Drager Cafe in Denmark. Full interview on tsn.ca.
When you look at the club moving forward, I mean, is that as difficult a year as a team that you could imagine? Anything that you've been involved with to this point?
Yeah, it was so disappointing. To come in with all those expectations and not even be in the playoffs, it was obviously.
Sunday Fun Day. It's just that if you're a fan of pitchers. Not pitchers of sangria, because those are the worst of all the pitchers. But baseball pitchers. Canada, make that Canadian. Mike Soroka making his second big league start on Sunday. Max Scherzer was mowing down hitters quicker than a John Deere. Shohei Ohtani, the position player / pitcher, returned to the mound after suffering a sprained ankle. So it was a trifecta of pitching storylines on Sunday. Seattle was in the mix to sign Ohtani, so fans gave him the Bronx cheer when he was the DH on Friday. He said, quote, "I'm not really used to being booed. It was probably my first time, so it kind of felt awkward and a little weird. It's also how people describe this show." The Mariners even traded prospects away this winter for additional international bonus money in their effort to lure Ohtani. He had 6 strikeouts over 6+ innings. He won this game, moves to 3-1. He was 2 for 4 at the dish on Friday, so a big weekend. How about other stars like Albert Pujols? He got his 3,000th hit. Mike Trout hit his 12th homer of the year. 3-run shot. Someone back of the Major League record. The Angels take it. 8-2.
Okay, so let's check in on Scherzer, who has dominated the Phillies over his career. 9-1 at 2.58 ERA in 14 games. He had 14 strikeouts through 6 innings. But in the 7th, after giving up a single to start the inning, he was pulled. And the Phillies up pinch hit for Jake Arrieta. So Scherzer strikes out a season best 15. That's the most strikeouts ever by a pitcher who went just 6 1/3. Sammy Solis replacing Scherzer. Runner in scoring position. Nick Williams drills one to center. That's a pinch hit RBI single. And that is a run that will be charged to Max Scherzer. His reaction says it all. Bottom 9. Nats now trailing 4-3. The bases are loaded. Hector Neris walks in the tying run. It's now tied at 4. So Gabe Kapler, new Phillies manager, comes out. The Phillies decide to play 5 infielders and 2 outfielders for the next batter, Wilmer Defoe. And he promptly drills one into the gap, and the Nationals walk it off. Gabe, your thoughts? Gabe? Gabe?
Still the Cup, facing elimination against LeBron and company for a 3rd straight year. Find out how the Raps plan on rewriting the same old story.
For a 3rd straight year, the Raptors are in danger of seeing their playoff run end early. However, despite being down 3 games to none to the Cavs, the Raps are not ready to lie down just yet.
Just rumble. I said last night, rumble. No matter what, you gotta just rumble.
What does that mean, Kyle? What does rumble mean to you?
You don't know rumble mean?
What does it mean to you?
What do you mean? I'm saying it, right? What do you think it means? What is your definition of rumble mean?
Say it about me, Kyle.
Rumble, right? You got to fight. You got to rumble. You got to rumble. You got to fight. You got to go out there and play hard and fight for everything you want. Rumble. Rumble, young man, rumble.
Good news is Coach Casey's hat finally seems to fit.
What did he expect rumble to mean? This is dumb.
Yeah, that wasn't good. The NBA handed down a $25,000 fine to Raptors president Masai Ujiri for walking onto the court at halftime to verbally confront the officials on Saturday night.
You want more?
Yes.
Game 4?
Big time. Raptors fans understandably experiencing fear and despair over once again being down 3-0 to the Cavs, but this time there's help. Being a basketball fan in Toronto can destroy your life, your relationships, and leave you feeling like there's no hope in making the finals. If LeBron James is crushing your playoff hopes, call the LeBron James Crisis Hotline. Our experts are standing by to listen to all your rants and ease your suffering. Call now if you're feeling an overwhelming need to yell, "I can't believe this is happening again! The bench was supposed to save us!" And, "What do we do now? There is no future!" We have call centers in Toronto, Indiana, and a new location coming to Boston. Your call is confidential. The LeBron James Crisis Support Hotline. Unlike the refs, we never miss a call. You're welcome. It's time for the Jay and Dan mailbag. These are actual letters from actual viewers across this great country. First up, Jordan Reginato asks, do you guys still watch the other version of SportsCenter?
Of course we do.
Yeah, not only do we watch it, we have an entire segment dedicated to the fact that we do watch it. It's called What's Happening on SportsCenter. This happened on Friday night. I was sitting in a bar, was watching with the sound down, and I saw this.
As Rob Black just said, their first game they frittered away. Second game, the Raptors just did.
That is terrifying. Big Teach wants to know, would producer Tim ever let you guys do a casual Friday? How great would it be to do SportsCenter in sweatpants? Well, Big Teach, I don't leave the house in sweatpants, ever.
I'll say this, Mayerthorpe, Alberta, the pride of Mayerthorpe, Kelsey Braid, may have not done the show in sweatpants, but he busted out the blazer and jeans look. Dan, I know you're a fan of this look. What do you think? Kelsey really rocked it on Saturday.
He sure did.
Craig asks, what are the odds Brad Marchand signs an endorsement deal with Hershey's Kisses or Scope before the end of the playoffs? Well, Marchand is actually going to endorse everything. He's already signed a bunch of guys, including a line of stamps called Brad Marchand stamps. These stamps are the only stamps where you lick the front.
He also has a line of popsicles so that he can introduce his new character, Popsicle Brad. Not as popular as Popsicle Pete. It's Popsicle Brad.
And a new line of car washes where he simply licks the cars clean. This has been the Jay and Dan mailbag. Actual letters from actual viewers across this great nation.
We appreciate those letters. Still to come. If you thought a slide couldn't get any uglier than Solarte's last week, you're wrong. It's in the Jannies. Next.
Producer Tim is known as a very innovative producer, maybe Canada's most innovative. This entire segment will just be the Jannies. This is producer Tim thinking on his feet, trying new things. D. Gordon trips and falls. That's how we started off. Producer Tim loves a pratfall.
Mika Zibanejad scored a beauty for Sweden at the Worlds. It's a celebration that had us smirking as he elbows teammate Oliver Ekman-Larsson in the face. This
Fargo. Jason Day won this tournament by 2 shots this weekend, thanks to shots like this one. Flag stick.
Oh, my goodness.
Rockets and Jizz. James Harden gets called for the inbound. I can't believe it, gesturing with his hands. And a Jazz fan mocks him. Yeah. Looks like a real fun guy to hang out.
Rockies and Mets. Tony Wolters loses the grip on his bat. It flies into the Mets dugout and hits Mets third base coach Glenn Sherlock. Way to go, Sherlock.
Pedro Alvarez plays third base for the Orioles sometimes. May not get another chance for a while. Bobbles the easy throw and then throws it to right field.
Not only did Alvarez drop it.
Seattle University, Sacramento State. A Seattle player running hard to first. Comes up short. Seattle University, that's not a real university.
And they have a parkade overlooking the ball
Sacramento
field?
State? Those aren't real schools.
By the way, if you say parkade to an American, they look at you with blank eyes.
That's not a word that exists down there.
It's really weird.
Figure it out, America. Washroom, also something they don't get. It's the worst play of the day. This one again. It's Jack Reisinger. He is trying to slide into first in a Sacramento State Seattle University game. He misses it by 8 feet.
Highlight of the night, we're going to Oakland. It's never cloudy in Oakland. Well, it looks like it's a bit overcast though, maybe.
That's a spinoff of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's never cloudy in Oakland.
Manny Machado
was impressive.
gets Mark Canha
Such a heartbreaker, you know.
with a nice play and picks up the highlight of the night.
It's time for our popular You Blew It segment where we point out our many errors and mistakes. And this time, Andrew Zwarich, who works on our program, typed everything out for us. Look, Dan struggled saying Logan Couture, friend of the show. Dan said scoreless. Scoreless isn't a term. Producer Tim says it is.
Yeah, the score. There is a score, 0-0. That's the score.
Tim just says, no. We both called them the Las Vegas Golden Knights. We called them that 3 times. Me twice, you once. It's just the Vegas Golden Knights. I still think that's dumb. You said pitchers of sangria are the worst. The control room disagrees with you, and I have to admit, I do as well. I love a nice sangria.
I don't
on a hot
want
day.
fruit floating around in my
You don't like fruit in your bread and your drinks? You don't like fruit?
Fruit is by
You've
itself.
got scurvy for sure right now. And the song I sang at the start of the show, I didn't know what it was. It was Yeah 3 Times by Chris Brown. I shouldn't be singing anything by that guy. And then this, Akiko is a lovely, lovely woman. She does our makeup at the beginning of the show, but she colored in my eyebrows and made me look a little bit like a Muppet.
And you look dewy. It's like you ran through a meadow.